The rover bucked on the regolith as I floored the drive motors. Telemetry rattled across my HUD thermal spikes. Wheel slip, battery draw climbing into the red. Outside, the dust storm had gone thin, but not gentle. Filaments of rust clung to the windshield like old blood. Ward, respond. I kept my voice level. No answer. Only the suit alarm, his suit alarm chirping low O2 from somewhere beyond visual. Control, I've lost Captain Ward, I said. Request lock on his beacon. 2-second delay. Beacon intermittent. Possible obstruction. Keep moving, Mercer. No mention of rescue. Under the rover's chassis, something scraped metal on stone, too deliberate for a loose panel. I flinched, checked the vehicle diagnostics. Belly armor intact, wheel servos nominal, hull pressure sealed. No collision reported. No wildlife on Mars. Or so we'd been briefed. Ahead, a field of shattered tools spread across the ravine floor, sampling arms, twisted, cutter heads torn open, carbon fiber hinges feathered into splinters. These weren't dropped. They were peeled apart. Ward, sound off. I tried again on short range. Static hissed back, pulsing in irregular bursts, as if someone was tapping the mic. The rover radar began pinging multiple returns, small and fast, hugging the terrain. The display refused to resolve shapes, only motion, skittering dots converging, then vanishing beneath the dust. Mercer, cease recording, a second voice cut in. Private channel. Company uplink, no call sign, negative. I kept the recorder live. Habit or defiance, I couldn't tell. Battery temp hit critical. I dialed back thrust, letting the motors cool, feeling the cabin pressure nibble at my ears. I was alone in a tin can with only 15 minutes to the hab if Ward was still out there. His O2 wouldn't last half that. I tried NASA relay out of desperation. Uplink intercepted before it could handshake. Do not broadcast to NASA, the company voice ordered. Continue to hab. Ward is non-priority. Non-priority. That was new language. Cold language. A tremor ran through the chassis, small, seeking. The suit mic caught my breathing, slow and fast at the same time, fogging the inside of my visor even though I wasn't outside. I lowered the rover's external cam. The dust parted just enough to show drag marks, parallel and neat, trailing us. Something was pacing the rover. Something was moving under the dust, tracking us. The descent burn lit the cabin in golden pulses. Our lander shuddered as the retros fought thin Martian air, each vibration crawling up the seat frame and into my spine. Captain Ward monitored guidance, jaw clenched, eyes flicking between radar and fuel. Dr. Hale whispered the public line under his breath. Historic frontier systems, pushing the limits for all mankind. Like he was practicing for another interview slot once we were home. No one would ever see the real landing footage. Company policy, polished sims for the public, raw logs for internal review only. We broke through the last 20 meters on auto, a hollow thump, then dust plumes curling past the windows. We were down. Contact, Ward confirmed. Lock legs, safe modes. His voice was steady, clipped, military. Mine was civilian, but I learned to match his cadence the first week of training. I pulled up the after-landing checklist. Power transfer to reactor bus. Cabin pressure verify. Suit ports pressurized. External cam sweep. The rhythm calmed me. Procedure always did. Hale recorded geology notes before we had even opened the hatch. Regolith fine-grain, reddish-brown, scattering consistent with aeolian deposition. He sounded bored, which meant he was comfortable. Mission Control chimed in. 8-minute round-trip delay. Welcome to Sol 1. Proceed with HFS surface objectives. You're clear for EVA when ready. The message carried the same sterile cheer they put in promotional videos. Ward keyed private channel. Remember the narrative, he said. Commercial settlement prep, nothing beyond that. We all knew it was a cover, but we were paid not to ask the other questions. First EVA began 90 minutes after touchdown. I sealed my suit, checked O2 levels 2 hours nominal, then latched onto the airlock rail. The hiss of depressurization always made my teeth chatter, as if my mouth believed it was losing air faster than the suit could compensate. The hatch opened. Mars wasn't red so much as muted rust, like old brick ground into powder. The company brochure colors were oversaturated. This felt dry and quiet and real. Ward stepped out first. "Leg braces, then solar," he ordered. Hale and I clipped tethers to the lander frame and worked the braces into position, boots digging little crescent prints into dust that hadn't moved in millions of years. Solar arrays folded out with a mechanical flutter. I checked voltage. Array 1 at 37%, climbing. Rover showed in the peripheral cam dormant until power routing completed. Hale wandered no more than 10 meters, taking surface scoops for survey logs. Whenever he said that phrase, I thought about what we weren't logging. Com delay made conversation lopsided. NASA asked about system temps. Answers felt stale by the time they arrived. The company uplink, though zero, delay. Encrypted, direct, intrusive. Once the habitat module inflated and pressurized, we cycled back inside. The hab smelled like heated plastic and recycled humidity. Ward pulled off his helmet, rubbed the bridge of his nose, and brought up the public brief. Day 1. Surface deployment ops nominal. Crew healthy. Mission on track. That was what the world saw. After meals and hydration checks, we prepped the rover for terrain mapping. The vehicle was boxy and practical big wheels. Thermal insulation pouches, battery racks strapped like ribs along the exterior. I liked the engineering honesty of it. Nothing beautified, nothing staged. The anomaly came quiet. Early. Almost friendly. We were reattaching a sampling arm to the rover when I noticed a glint in the dust, smooth, curved, half-buried. I brushed regolith aside with a glove. A thin scrap of metal, no larger than a finger, shaped like a crescent hook. Its edge was too clean for erosion. Debris? I asked. Hale leaned in. Could be probe shrapnel. Plenty of junk from the 70s onward. He sounded convincing, but I didn't recognize the alloy. Too polished. Too new. Ward logged it with a short note, then paused. Hold. Don't send to NASA. He filed it under an internal HFS code I hadn't seen before. Back inside the hab, we synced data. Public summary for the press, science, hope and cooperation. Private update for the board. Resource claims, infrastructure, legal preemption. What they didn't tell us was why secrecy mattered on a barren rock. On Sol 2, we opened the rover bay and prepped for mapping run. Same routines, battery checks, thermal load, wheel tests. I enjoyed hearing tires crunch dust for the first time. It felt like proof we'd arrived for real, not just for show. Then I saw another crescent scrap. This one closer to the rover tracks, as if placed there. I photographed it, filed it. Hale shrugged again. Ward didn't. Internal only, Ward repeated. His tone carried weight, not fear exactly, but awareness. By noon, after 3 kilometers of terrain work, we counted 6 scraps, none scattered, all equidistant, a pattern. Com started cutting during uplink. Tiny dropouts, pulses of static. Equipment degradation was common on Mars, but not on day 2. Ward didn't file the interruption in the public log. Hale tested regolith near 1 scrap. Magnetic response minimal, he said, not natural. Then someone put it here, I said. No, Ward corrected. Something. He said it flat, then drove the rover on as if the word didn't matter. I tried to laugh it off. Early anomalies often faded under better data. Yet that night, while inventorying suit filters, I couldn't shake the neat distances of those scraps. Patterns meant intention. Intention meant agency. Corporate training told us to assume sensors before life. Surface networks, they called it. Monitoring arrays, recon systems, things for mining, not biology. But if it was just company hardware, why hide it from NASA? The debris kept showing up in patterns, not scatter. The rover hummed beneath us as we eased out of the hop perimeter. Tires carving clean tracks into dust no wind would ever erase. Ward drove. Hale monitored geology. I watched the mapping console, waiting for the next scrap of that crescent metal to make sense. The comm delay made the cabin feel thick. NASA asked for rover telemetry. We answered. 8 minutes later, they thanked us for sending what was already outdated. Corporate uplink stayed quiet, too quiet. Ward tapped the console. A new grid appeared over the terrain map, faint red boundaries we hadn't seen during briefing. No broadcast zone, he said. Keep telemetry internal until further notice. He didn't offer a reason. I checked the software. No broadcast zones meant NASA logs wouldn't auto-archive sensor data. Only HFS servers would see what we captured. I felt a prickling down my arms. half curiosity, half dread. Corporate wants recovery ops, Ward said once the private channel synced. Not science. Hale turned from his window. Recovery of what? Ward didn't answer. We pushed northeast, rover bouncing over shallow ridges. Battery draw crept up, dust fouling the wheel housings. Power-saving mode kicked in, reduced cabin heat, dimmed lights, throttled motor output. Corporate cost-cutting at 20 kilometers from the landing site. Hale tapped a fragment against the window. Another crescent scrap. Not geological, he said. Too uniform, too thin. Probe debris, Ward insisted. Not from 18 months ago, Hale countered. Alloys don't look weathered. Surface oxidation's fresh. I glanced at him. Fresh how? Months at him. Fresh how? Months, Hale said. Not years, maybe weeks. Ward kept driving like the conversation was optional. The probe crashed. Look it up. I pulled the mission archive. HFS lost an unmanned probe, the Archer 3, on an unpublicized descent test. The official report cited telemetry dropout. The unofficial report, if it existed, wasn't in our folders. Archer 3 went down 18 months ago, Ward said. We're here to get the core memory back. Hale frowned. Why didn't NASA know? Ward shot him a look. Because NASA didn't fund it. That shut us up for a moment. I listened to the rover belts whine under strain, watched dust swirl in the low-gravity arcs, and wondered what HFS would pay to keep a failed probe quiet. At the 1-hour mark, we reached the edge of a ravine, narrow, steep, shadowed. Ward marked a course down using terrain follow mode. 2 kpas, keep mapping, he ordered. I logged slopes, radiation, and thermal readings. The ravine trapped cold. Temperatures dropped 5 degrees in minutes. Cabin windows fogged, heaters kicking on low priority first, then mid-range. Reflective surfaces left side, I noted. Hale leaned over, peering through haze. Fragments, same shape, multiples. Ward slowed. The rover's LiDAR sketched outlines, thin crescents, overlapping like fish scales, partly buried, partly exposed. Archer 3 didn't scatter like that, Hale muttered. Company wants core. That's all we're recovering, Ward repeated. I checked uplink. NASA pinged again. Telemetry mismatch flagged in their packet, delayed, confused, unable to reconcile our missing sensor logs. They asked for clarification. Ward didn't respond. Corporate did. Private channel flickered. Proceed to objective. Proceed to objective. Do not disclose restricted findings. Confirm chain of custody for recovered components. The voice was synthetic. Calm legal department. Calm. Recovery, not science, Hale whispered. It sounded like a curse. The ravine tightened. Walls folding inward, dust forming heavy drifts. Tires slipped. Ward corrected. Battery dipped again. 68%, then 66, then 66. Power saving ramped to level 2. Not ideal, I said. Ward shrugged. It's Mars. Nothing's ideal. At a bend in the ravine, the rover lights caught something larger, a curved plate, the size of a backpack, dull gray, embossed with angled ridges. Not wind-shaped. Not probe standard either. Let me log it, Hale said. He snapped photos, muttering notes. Architecture's off. No weld seams, no fasteners. It's grown or cast as a single piece. Archer 3 was modular, I added. You could unbolt every panel. Ward shifted in his seat. New prototype. Hale shook his head. Then where are the other prototypes, and why didn't NASA get briefed? The question lingered. So did the silence. Com delay broke it. NASA finally catching our earlier telemetry. Confirm restricted mapping corridor. We show partial blackouts. Advise. Ward killed the message. Corporate override turned the NASA channel read-only. Isolation settled in like dust, soft, weightless, inescapable. We crawled deeper until daylight dimmed into copper shadow. Rover headlights carved tunnels through haze. Fragments gleamed sporadically on walls, in drifts, under ledges, placement too deliberate for crash scatter. What if Archer 3 didn't crash here? I asked before I could stop myself. Hale stared straight ahead. Then HFS isn't recovering a probe. They're retrieving something they already found. Ward didn't correct him. At 14 kilometers, Ward parked. End of map corridor. Recovery site should be downslope. He marked another no broadcast field, smaller, tighter, offline. He powered down to idle. Cabin dimmed, motors cooled. The rover ticked as metal contracted from the cold. Battery 59%, comm windows restricted. Escape route, 1 lane of loose dust and collapsing rock. Pull science package, Ward said. Hale unlatched the rear crate, assembling scanners, spectrometers, sample tools, corporate models, not NASA's. I ran sensor sweeps, radar returns, fragmented reflective shapes without identifiable geometry, like someone shattered a mirror into crescents and tiled them along the ravine. Patterns, I whispered, not random. Hale nodded. Not debris fields either. Something placed them. Ward ignored us, but he tapped the console harder than before. Night cycle hit fast. The sun dipped behind the ridge and temperature plunged. Our breath clouded the cabin despite heaters on high. Power warnings chirped. Corporate spec the rover, cheap light batteries, minimal redundancies, civilian pricing in an environment that punished mistakes. As we locked down systems for sleep cycle, something pinged against the hull. Soft, then again, same strength, same angle. Thermal shift? I offered, more hope than logic. The third ping was sharper, a tap, not a ping. Hale froze, hand midway to his tablet. Ward killed interior lights. We sat in the dark, only HUD elements glowing faint green. Outside, the ravine swallowed sound and returned nothing. Then the tapping resumed, 3 beats, pause, 3 beats again, like it waited for a reply. The tapping repeated in 3s, like it waited for a reply. We suited up at dawn cycle, while the ravine still hid from sunlight. O2 timers at 2 hours each, thermal backups armed, line anchors clipped to the rover frame. Ward checked the rappel rig twice, corporate gear. Thin cables, lightweight mounts built to pass safety on paper, not comfort in practice. Surface anchors set, I confirmed, tugging the first line. The dust puffed away like smoke, no wind to carry it. Every motion felt exaggerated, in low gravity, slow but purposeful. Hale swung his geology pack over one shoulder. You realize probes don't land upright, he said, as if reminding himself. Ward didn't take the bait. Objective is data core. He'd chatter short. NASA pinged us 8 minutes prior, asking for mapping updates and habitat status. Our delayed response still hadn't hit them. Corporate filters held the packet until we cleared the no broadcast zone. Silence worked both ways out here. We descended single file, boots scraping dust into fine cascades. HUD readouts jittered from shadow interference. Battery warming pads fought the cold, eating power faster than forecast. Halfway down, Hale grunted. There. The probe appeared through layered haze, sitting upright against a slope. Nose angled slightly skyward, intact enough to be unsettling. Archer 3 had not crashed. It had been placed. Panels were peeled open like petals, not ripped peeled. Edges rolled outward, screws missing, wiring teased into long silver threads. No impact fractures, Hale noted. No burn scoring, no buckling. Ward scanned the hull. We mark it and salvage the core, nothing else. I crouched near the central panel, brushing dust away with gloved knuckles. Wiring lay exposed, braided delicately. Beside them, tiny piles of screws had been arranged into neat triangles. Someone opened this, I said. Hale shook his head. No tool marks, no abrasion, no heat stress. Whatever did this, it didn't pry or cut. Ward deployed the inspection arm, tapping commands into his wrist pad. Corporate encryption lit his HUD private log. Low bandwidth transmission, unlisted destination. Logging to HFS board, he said. I tried to mirror the capture, routing my feed to NASA. Packet queued, compressed, then vanished. No error. No denial. Just gone. NASA uplink rejected, I muttered. Ward glanced over. Company priority supersedes public interest. Don't fight it. That's not policy, I said. It is here. Hale pulled the probe schematics. The data core should be under this bulkhead. He tapped the hull. Metal chimed, soft and hollow. I wedged my glove under the seam and lifted. The bulkhead came free too easily, as if it had been opened recently and closed for show. Empty cavity. Cold. Clean. No core, Hale said. Storage cradles intact. No scorch. No shearing. Ward radioed corporate directly. Core missing. Confirm next objective. Corporate answered without delay. Continue evaluation. Do not disclose to NASA. Maintain salvage priority. The words came without emotion, like reading from a contract. Hale ran his spectrometer along the hull cut. Edges are smooth, not machined, not melted. More like something separated the material along its bonds. Deliberate, I asked. Deliberate and patient, he said. That was the first time fear edged his voice. While Hale and I inspected the panel, Ward climbed into the rear section. He snapped photos never for science, always for corporate archive. I checked my kit sampling arms, test probes, tether clamps, vacuum bags. One arm was missing. I opened every pouch, checked the floor, checked the rappel line. Ward, did you grab my sampling arm? I asked. No, he said. Would have asked first. Hale? He shook his head. Checklist had it when we left, I said. I logged it. Ward didn't answer. He moved deeper into the probe hole, visor lights cutting across reflective scraps. One crescent fragment clung to the inner wall as if magnetized. What if HFS knew the core was missing? Hale asked quietly. Then we're not recovering, I said. We're confirming. Confirming what? The question hung there. None of us wanted the answer. HUD alarms pinged battery warm drain, 14% loss to thermal. We had 90 minutes left before rover power got ugly. Ward finished his photos. Package remaining components. For what? Hale asked. Assessment in HAB. We started loading what little we could, fragments, screws, wiring strands, into evidence bags that felt absurdly clinical against alien engineering. When I reached for the next coil of thread-like wiring, my glove brushed something cold and metallic on the dust. The missing sampling arm lay disassembled into 14 perfect segments, arranged in a straight line from largest to smallest, each joint unbolted without scoring. No tool marks, no scratches, no debris. It looked like a diagram. Ward, I called, you need to see this. He stepped over, visor lights trembling against the hull. Hale crouched beside me. That's not damage. That's analysis. By who? I whispered. Not who. Hale corrected. What? Ward keyed private uplink again. Site compromised. Unknown interaction. Core absent. Recommend. He paused, listening. Corporate cut him off mid-sentence. Proceed without deviation. Maintain silence. Do not escalate. He didn't argue. He never argued with corporate. I rechecked my NASA uplink one more time. No handshake, no bounce, no logs. It was as if NASA didn't exist on the other end, or someone refused to let us notice they did. Hale photographed the dismantled arm. Something here evaluates tools, takes them apart, understands function. And doesn't take the pieces, I added. Because it's done with them, Hale said. O2 hit the 1 hour mark. Ward signaled extraction. We clipped onto the rappel lines and ascended, probe shrinking beneath us, perched in that impossible upright stance. The rover waited at the rim, hull still cold from night cycle, batteries bleeding warmth into joints not designed for this stretch of Mars. Once sealed inside, Ward transmitted his private log. Encrypted packets vanished through the corporate link. I tried again to send NASA my report. Nothing left my queue. Corporate spoke one final time, calm, clinical, absolute. HFS commands. No external reporting sanitized the site. We made it back to the habitat by late Seoul afternoon. The ravine still clung to the back of my mind-upright probe. Peeled panels, screws sorted like coins. My dismantled sampling arm. None of it matched the mission brief. None of it matched physics either. Ward cycled the airlock first. Hale followed. I came last, sealing the outer hatch and watching dust settle in slow arcs through the visor glass. Low gravity made everything graceful, even fear. Inside the HAB, pressure equalized. Helmets clacked off. Dry air hit my face tin and plastic, a little ozone from the power regulators. Ward tossed his gloves onto the equipment bench and pulled a sealed folder from a storage locker I hadn't seen him open before. Corporate stamp on the front. Red band, unregistered. What's that? Hale asked. Mission continuation brief, Ward said, voice flat. Sealed until recovery. Recovery of the data core, I said. Ward shook his head once. Recovery of the anomaly. The word landed heavy in the hab. We'd never used it before, not out loud. Hale stepped closer. You telling me HFS knew about those fragments before launch? Ward unfolded the pages. No maps, no photos, just coordinates, material reports, and telemetry graphs. Spikes in conductivity, repeating curves, signal chatter. He slid one sheet to me. Pre-launch scans from Archer 3. 17 anomalous returns during descent. HFS expected impact, not loss. Hale bristled. You said they lost telemetry. You told NASA they lost telemetry. They lost the probe, Ward corrected. Telemetry was jammed, not dropped. Jammed by what? Hale pressed. Ward didn't answer, because he couldn't answer. Corporate never gave him that page. I scanned the sheet again. The signal spikes clustered in triples like the tapping on the rover hull. 3 beats, pause. 3 beats again. Pattern recognition flared through me. Not natural, not mechanical noise. Intent. Ward dropped the rest of the brief on the table. HFS wants proof Archer 3 didn't fail. Government contracts depend on it. Hale slammed his fist against the bench. This isn't engineering, this is discovery. You hid data from NASA so they wouldn't claim jurisdiction. Ward absorbed the hit without blinking. Corporate owns this site. Corporate owns the probe. Corporate gets first rights on whatever else is down there. And if that whatever else isn't corporate, Hale shot back. Silence pressed against the walls. No one wanted to consider the possibility. We powered down for night cycle to save energy and processing budget. Exterior floodlights flicked off. Interior LED-ed to a pale yellow. Battery warmers hummed through the vents. Hale inventoried our gear sampling tools, tethers, EVA rigs. 2 more arms were missing. Not displaced. Missing. We locked everything before we left, Hale said. He checked each latch, muttering in clipped fragments. This doesn't make sense. Ward didn't look up. It's contamination. We violated site integrity. It's reacting. Reacting how? Hale demanded. His voice cracked with something between anger and awe. Before Ward could answer, a shiver ran through the hob frame metal, contracting unevenly from temperature drop. Or so I told myself. I peered through the viewport. The landscape was darker than it had any right to be. No stars at this latitude, no reflected glow. Just dust and shadow. A blur broke the darkness. Fast, low. Near the habitat footings, I leaned closer. Nothing there. Hale, I said. Viewport, left side. He joined me, visor still in his hands. What am I looking for? I wasn't sure. Not motion exactly. More like displacement. The dust settling wrong, as if something had disturbed it and fled. Ward switched to low external cam. Grainy feed, infrared bloom, barely enough resolution to tell rock from slope. Power budget's tight, he warned. We're not running full illumination for shadows. Hale hissed through his teeth. It accelerates in low light. I turned. That's an assumption. It dismantled your sampling arm at night cycle, Hale said. It paced the rover at night cycle. It tapped the hull at night cycle. That's not noise, Mercer. That's behavior. Behavior meant rules. Rules meant intelligence. Intelligence meant we were not the only ones running a mission. Ward unsealed another page in the brief corporate notation, timestamped 3 months before launch. Anomaly Maze B non-GPS-tical. Protocol non-disclosure. Promary retrieval. Secondary containment. Containment, Hale read out loud. Of what exactly? Ward folded the paper like that made it less real. I don't know. The power dipped 1 second flicker. LEDs sputtered. Recycled air hissed louder as pumps compensated. Have diagnostics chimed. Power saver mode recommended O2 scrubber. Lost that fast meant contamination in the line or wear from cold. Equipment degradation starting, I said. Hale grabbed his tether spool to secure the tools, but stopped mid-movement. The tether fibers pulled apart strand by strand, splitting like thread under a needle. Not severed, not sliced. Delaminated. He dropped it on the table. What the hell does that? Ward examined the fibers. No fraying, no tearing. Smooth, even separation like someone teased it apart to understand how it worked. It prefers unshielded metal and composite, Hale said. It ignores sealed components. It ignores us. For now, I added. Ward keyed comms. NASA arbitration request denied, the interface reported. Jurisdiction HFS exclusive. Try again, Hale snapped. Ward didn't. He pulled up NASA's relay channel anyway, typed the direct request, and hit transmit. The packet stalled, then vanished. Corporate filter erased it with no trace. It's illegal to block scientific arbitration, Hale said. Ward didn't rise to the bait. Corporate paid for the lander, the rover, and the HAB. NASA signed joint operations. Jurisdiction defaults. Over my research, Hale muttered. The room dimmed another degree. Battery warmers dropped to low priority. Exterior cams cut entirely. We were blind outside. I put my hand against the viewport, palm fogging the glass. Dust drifted faintly, then stopped drifting. Dust never stopped drifting on Mars, not. Without wind or without motion, something obstructed airflow outside, something that didn't breathe. Hale, I whispered. Look. He inhaled sharply, visor halfway down. Ward joined us, jaw tight. The view was too dark to catch details, just faint shifts of mass, quick, efficient, like a hand rearranging pieces on a game board. Another diagnostic beeped. TWO sampling arms, missing tether A, com promised resupply opention. Known Hale choked a laugh dry, humorless. It's stripping us. No, Ward corrected. It's disarming us. No, Ward corrected. It's disarming us. The distinction mattered. Whatever was out there hadn't touched life support, hadn't breached hull, hadn't severed tethers completely. It only took tools. It only dismantled objects. It only observed. Threat rules clicked into place. Speed in low light, prefers exposed materials, avoids sealed systems, engages only when we're not looking, never repeats a failure. That last one bothered me. What doesn't want us dead? I asked quietly. Hale answered just as quiet. Something that wants us useful. Ward sealed the folder again, as if that could make the mission clean. We operate under HFS protocol until sunrise. Full power when the arrays charge. No external reporting without clearance. Hale stared daggers through him. You're choosing corporate over truth. Ward didn't flinch. I'm choosing the chain of command. And if the chain is wrong? No one spoke after that. The pumps settled. The power steadied. The exterior stayed black and motionless. But when morning cycle came and the floodlights kicked back on, every missing tool was gone without trace. Not discarded, not broken. Simply absent, like they were never ours to begin with. Hale summed it up better than any of us could. It doesn't want us dead, just unarmed. Corporate called before sunrise cycle. Private uplink, no delay, no warmth. Resume recovery operations. Missing components are critical. Safety objections noted and overruled. Ward listened without blinking. Hale stared at the ceiling like he could see Earth through insulation. I just watched the rover battery climb on the solar feed 63%, then 68%. Barely enough for terrain work, definitely not enough for rescue. They want the components we lost, Ward said. They think the anomaly moved them into the ravine. Hale snapped his tablet shut. They don't think. They know, and they want us to confirm it. Ward ignored the comment and opened the EVA checklist. 2-hour suits, 1 backup tank. We retrieve the containers, log the site, and get out. Assuming they're still in one piece, Hale muttered. I couldn't argue. Nothing stayed in one piece down there. We cycled through preparation O2 scrubber inspection, valve test, helmet seal, overpressure check, boots locked, gloves locked, tools latched to tethers we no longer trusted. Hale held up a spare tether clamp. Last one that wasn't delaminated. Make it count, I said. Ward attached a telemetry repeater to his suit's spine. Continuous broadcast from now on. Low bandwidth telemetry. No gaps. Hale raised an eyebrow. You think it slows the anomaly? I think it avoids active radio, Ward said. Yesterday it got close when comms dimmed. Hale considered the data. Not light-based then. Signal-based. No assumptions, Ward snapped. We work the site, not the theory. We stepped into the airlock. Depressurization hissed loud enough to feel in my molars. Outer hatch opened. Dust curled across our boots. The ravine waited, same as before, narrow, quiet, hungry, Battery heaters on the rover kicked as we entered the cold shadow. Power dipped again. Hale switched telemetry to constant trickle position. Vitals, ambient readings, looped back to the hab and broadcast outward. The anomaly didn't show. Not at first. Our missing gear sat 30 meters down, containers laid out like someone had sorted them by size. Sampling arms placed parallel, bolts stacked in lines. No damage, just classification. Ward grunted. Retrieve and bag. We spread out, 6 meters apart, enough to see each other, not enough to get in each other's way. My HUD chimed 0201-46. Plenty on paper. Not enough when every minute felt like negotiation. Hale crouched over a container. Same pattern as the probe. No tool marks. Lifted clean. I bagged a sampling arm and latched it to my harness. Ward retrieved the tether clamps. Hale checked for missing pieces. Nothing missing. Nothing taken for keeps. Just studied. This thing's not a scavenger, Hale said. It's an evaluator. Less talking, Ward ordered. More moving. Back toward the rover, the dust shifted. Not wind pressure differential from motion. Flash left, I said. Ward froze. Hale swung a light. Dust parted just a fraction too cleanly, like water cut around a fin. The anomaly tracked us, but it didn't close. Telemetry still broadcast steady, constant, boring. We made the repair line without incident. That should have been the warning. Ward clipped in first. Boots over the edge. 1 meter down, 2, 3. A sharp scrape. The tether clamp disassembled itself, mid-air, threads unspooling, screws separating, washers floating like metal pollen. Ward, clamp failure, I shouted. He twisted to grab the line, boots slipping on dust. Gravity caught him. He slammed into a ledge, knee first. A white arc of pain burst across his HUD. I heard him grunt, not shout. Ward never shouted. O2 breach, Hale said. Minor, sealant patch now. I descended fast, too fast. For protocol, gloves burning against the cable. Ward's knee plate was gouged, outer layer torn. Inner membrane cooking off oxygen and pale vapor. Leak rate, 0.22 L/min. Not catastrophic, but catastrophic. Didn't need a running start on Mars. Hale slapped sealant over the breach. Foam hissed, hardened, darkened. Leak slowed, not stopped. Ward pushed up on one elbow. Get the containers. Move. Then I saw it, dust rippling toward us, silent and low like a swarm moving beneath the skin. Hale, radio's full broadcast, I said. He toggled transmission to continuous payload junt telemetry. Redundant data. Full bandwidth jam. The dust ripples slowed. Not stopped, just less interested. Ward, up. I hauled his harness, Hale anchoring the line. Ward's knee didn't hold weight well. Every motion bled O2 in strength. The anomaly didn't care about us. It cared about the clamp's metal bits, still disassembling mid-fall where Ward dropped them. The pieces sorted into piles before they hit the dust, not random. Curated. We scrambled up the last 10 meters, boots scraping, gloves clawing. Dust chased but didn't touch. At the rim, the rover waited. Floodlights swept the ravine. The anomaly vanished under glare. Ward collapsed into the passenger seat, dragging breaths like gravel. Hale strapped the containers and gear into the bay. 020059, Ward muttered. Plenty if we didn't argue. Not enough if corporate prolonged the mission. Back at the habitat, cycle-in took forever. Pressure equalization, contamination barrier, scrubber check. Ward sat on the bench, helmet off, sweat freezing at the hairline. Corporate needs medical, I said. Corporate answered before Ward could. Continue salvage operations. Casualty non-critical. Escalation authority authorized. Hale read the text 3 times. Escalation authority. For what? Ward pulled the sealed brief from yesterday. Another page we hadn't seen, covered in legal phrases that sounded like directives. Neutralize the anomaly if viable. Suppress unauthorized discovery. Terminate alternate claims. Hale tore it from his hand. This isn't research. It's disposal. Ward didn't disagree. He just stared at the list again like he wished the words meant something cleaner. We stripped out of suits. Ward's knee was swollen, purple under the skin. Sealant still crusted around the breach point. I wrapped a pressure band. Hale ran diagnostics on the remaining tether. Half the fibers were compromised filaments separated, sorted, reorganized. It learns, Hale whispered. First clamps, then arms, then tethers. Next it's life support, or us. I shook my head. No, it avoids sealed systems. It avoids tissue. It avoids casualties. Ward exhaled through his teeth. Doesn't matter. Corporate doesn't want coexistence. They want control. Hale finally said what I'd been thinking since the ravine. Maybe control isn't on the table. The uplink pinged again. No voice, just a directive. HFS priority objective. Neutralize. Ward set the tablet down like it was heavy. He didn't say he would obey. He didn't say he would. He didn't say he wouldn't. He just looked tired. After lights dimmed for night cycle, Hale lingered at the viewport, watching dust settle outside. Not drifting, not random, just watching back. He didn't turn when he spoke. It's not hostile, just learning us. No one sleeps on Mars. We just wait for the lights to come back. I spent night cycle pretending to review soil logs while Ward argued with corporate on a muted channel and Hale stared out the viewport like a man listening to the ocean for wreckage. When the lights returned, the habitat hummed, but not cheerfully. Power budget dropped to 54%. Water reclamation fell behind schedule. Filters needed a full flush we couldn't afford. Ward blamed dust. Hale blamed corporate. I blamed the anomaly. I opened a private file on my tablet, disconnected from mission networks, time-stamped manually, not digitally. Comanche log 01 HFS, concealed anomaly data. Probe was opened, not crashed. Threat is non-lethal, analytical. Corporate intends containment, not understanding. I saved to local storage only. No uplink, no archive, no trace but mine. Hale glanced over. What's that? Insurance, I said. Against who? You can't answer that without picking a side. While Ward ran diagnostics, Hale drafted what he called containment rules. He used a whiteboard instead of his tablet chalk, squeaking like a surgeon sketching an incision. Rule 1, keep lights high. Rule 2, maintain continuous telemetry broadcast. Rule 3, minimize loose metal. Rule 4, avoid oxygen leaks. Rule 4, avoid oxygen leaks. Rule 4, do not approach during night cycle. He kept the marker. Not military rules, animal rules. Ward scowled. We don't know it's alive. We don't know it's naive. Hale shot back. I added quietly. We know it learns fast. Ward folded his arms. HFS thinks it's salvageable tech. If it's tech, we own it. Billions in IP. Full spectrum patent control. Hale looked disgusted. This isn't a patent race. This is contact. Ward ignored the word contact. Corporate people always ignore the most important word in the room. The NASA relay pinged a delayed packet from Sol 5. Telemetry request. Nothing unusual. Just mission housekeeping, 8 minutes out of date. I tried to piggyback a coded log through the relay low priority, disguised as soil data, plain text, folded into thermal readings. The relay blinked, packet queued, packet reshaped, packet scrambled. The return feed came back as a smear of static and numbers that didn't correspond to any protocol I recognized. Hale watched over my shoulder. Interference? Too clean for interference, I said. It's scrubbed. By corporate? He asked. I hesitated. Corporate liked blocking. Corporate liked erasing. This reshaped. Maybe not, I answered. Ward overheard anyway. NASA relays outside corporate jurisdiction, he said. We can't jam it. That didn't look like jamming. Looked like translation. I didn't admit the worst part. The scrambled packet kept the telemetry cadence 3 beats. Pause. 3 beats like the tapping on the rover hull. Pattern recognition again. The anomaly listened. Maybe it answered. Water pumps clanked, then slowed. System flagged. Reclamation. Efficiency 62%. Ward swore under his breath. We cut showers. Nobody showering. Hale snapped. We reduced power on cabin heaters and habitat lights. The dimming made every corner feel like a cave mouth waiting for echo. Later, Ward pulled me aside, voice low. You log anything outside mission channels? I met his eyes. He looked tired, not suspicious. Or suspicious in a tired way. Just research, I lied. He didn't push. But he didn't believe me either. During midday cycle, Hale and I inspected the rover bay. Something had moved tools overnight, stacked them by type, not function. Audio sensors caught nothing. Motion cams were dead power budget, cut them during night. Repositioning, Hale said. Not theft, not damage. What rule does that follow? I asked. He scratched his beard. Observation, experimentation, iteration. That's engineering, I said. Or cognition, he countered. Ward stayed in the comm room, talking to corporate like a man pleading with a judge who held his pension. We heard only fragments when the door didn't seal fully. IP first priority. Jurisdiction is binding. NASA cannot arbitrate. When he emerged, his jaw was tight enough to crack a molar. Each FS says Earthside interest is rising. Leaks in the aerospace press. Satellite companies asking why NASA lost downlink. Hale snorted. So they're more afraid of journalists than anomalies. Ward didn't smile. They'll bury the story before they admit NASA didn't know about Archer 3. Then we give NASA something they can't bury, Hale said. Ward spun. You go outside protocol. I write you up and ground you. Ground me? Hale echoed. We're already grounded. Mars is the grounding. Ward pointed at the hob ceiling. Command isn't optional. Corporate owns this terrain. And the anomaly? Hale pressed. Ward didn't respond. That night cycle, I restarted the confession logs. Confession log 02, corporate intends cover-up. NASA isolated, Earth unreachable. Hale believes anomaly is non-hostile, exploratory. Ward believes it's technology. I believe it's neither. Confession log 03. Containment rules may fail if it adapts faster than we ration. Halfway through typing, the lights dimmed again, deeper than scheduled. Emergency glow strips lit the habitat in amber streaks. It felt like being underwater, listening for sharks. Ward ran power diagnostics. Charge intake stable, draw exceeding baseline, something cycling when we sleep. Hale frowned. The anomaly? Unless you brought a second mission crew, Ward snapped. Water reclamation dropped to 59%. Filters choked. Reserve stores not enough for the week. We argued protocol until breath fogged a viewport. Finally, Hale said what none of us wanted to say. We need Earth. Ward's shoulders slumped. We're not getting Earth. Hale tried anyway. He routed a direct arbitration request. 3 paragraphs of scientific evidence, mission breach, and casualty risk. He sent it not to NASA, but to the Interagency Space Governance Board civilian lawyers who loved jurisdiction fights more than corporations loved money. The relay queued, scrambled, echoed 3 pulses back. Hale stared hollowly at the screen. That's not corporate. No, I said. It's local. Ward didn't take comfort in the distinction. Night cycle closed like a door. Telemetry stayed on continuous. Lights stayed at half bright. None of us spoke. In the morning, Hale opened the rover bay to check the battery. He froze. Mercer, Ward, you need to see this. I got there first. The rover chassis sat on blocks of regolith. 4 wheels gone. Not cut, not melted, not broken. Renewed. Even the lug nuts sat in neat stacks largest to smallest. Ward whispered, Jesus Christ. Hale crouched, brushing dust off the exposed hubs. It didn't destroy the rover, he said. I swallowed, throat dry as powdered rust. No, I said. It disarmed it. Hale exhaled like he'd just solved the wrong equation. It's not hostile, just learning us. The rover looked dead without wheels. Just a chassis balanced on stacked regolith, like someone had drafted an exploded diagram and forgot to animate it back together. Hale crouched beside the hub, dust pooling in the low-gravity swirl. They took the whole mobility system, he said, left the chassis intact. Ward didn't care. HFS wants confirmation of 0 surviving samples. He read from the tablet like it wasn't a death sentence for science. Hale stood up slow. 0 samples means 0 truth. Ward turned away. 0 samples means no liability. While they argued, I opened the equipment bay and pulled sealed containers, the kind used for biological spec but rated for vacuum. Hale noticed, you're caching them. Better than watching Ward torch them, I said. Corporate sends me to prison for that, Hale warned. Corporate terminates us for the alternative, I replied. No one laughed. We suited for EVA short cycle, single tank, only 30 minutes of oxygen. Ward forced us into a retrieval op under threat of corporate escalation. HFS implies we're on breach protocol. Mission compliance required. Hale spat in his helmet. Breach of what? Curiosity? The airlock dropped pressure, then opened to raw morning. Dust glowed in gold sheets. The ravine waited, quiet as a mouth before speech. We moved fast 12 minutes down, tether lines minimal, telemetry constant. The anomaly stayed silent, either uninterested or watching. Hale picked a shallow depression near the slope and shoveled regolith with his boot, burying sealed containers under 10 centimeters of dust. He added 2 data slates wrapped in foil. That buys us time, he said. Ward noticed too late. His visor snapped toward the ridge. What are you doing with sealed materials? Hale kept his voice calm. Preserving samples for NASA arbitration. No arbitration, Ward snapped. Corporate owns adjudication. Corporate don't own Mars, Hale said. Ward grabbed his shoulder, gloves clacking. We are not contaminating the site with evidence you can't control. Hale shrugged him off. You mean evidence you can't destroy? Ward didn't respond. He just stomped toward the ravine's mouth and dropped an oxygen canister from his pack. It tumbled, bounced, then hissed open, hissing longer than expected. Ward, what are you doing? I asked. Sterilization, Ward said. Oxygen-rich burn. Fire denies evidence. There was no flame at first, just vapor, then a weak ignition, blue and thin, lapping at crescent debris like a lab flame under a crucible. Hale swore. Stop it. Oxygen spikes attract. He didn't finish. The anomaly arrived as dust for spirals, then streaks, then strands. It accelerated through oxygen like metal through solvent. The debris didn't burn, it blossomed. Crescents rolled, stacked, fused, split, reorganized. The rover axle still implanted in the ravine disassembled in under 5 seconds. Not ripped, not melted, chewed. What the hell? Ward stepped back, foot skidding. Telemetry spiked, O2 alarms chirped, HUD flickered, threat rule confirmed. Oxygen plus heat equals acceleration. We scrambled for the rappel line. Something skittered between rock, shadows fast, non-linear, no mass signature on radar. Move, I shouted. Ward reached the line first, slipped, and slammed against the wall. Suit held. Seal held. His pride didn't. Hale cut his own tether to anchor Ward's climb. That was the first sacrifice, small, logical, unheroic, but necessary. We hauled up the slope, feet scrambling, lungs burning against suit pressure. HUD clocks bled time, 0200, 12, 00, 11, 0, 0, 10. At the rim, the habitat sat still, innocent, unaware. Then the alarm started. Micro-breach, alert airlock, seals probe contacts acted. Locked on, initiate. What did you do? Hale hissed at Ward. Ward was panting through clenched teeth. Fire sterilizes evidence. Every investigation uses. This isn't evidence, Hale snapped. This is interaction. You provoked it. We sprinted for the airlock. The anomaly didn't chase bodies. It chased tool-slicing antennae, stripping clamps, peeling paint like dead skin. Inside the lock, I slapped the emergency seal. Pressure climbed. Interior pumps howled as they fought the microleaks. HAB diagnostics rolled across the wall screen. Brachyteptobservational deshydration. Non-biological seals, holding margin 4%. Margin 4% meant we were one bad decision away from wearing the atmosphere on our tongues. We collapsed into the habitat proper, helmets off, sweat cold on our necks. Ward checked the uplink. Corporate had dropped the pretense. HFS requests confirmation of 0 surviving samples, the message read. Affirm destruction. No external retention. Hale barked a laugh that cracked into despair. They're panicking. They want deniability. Ward paced like a trapped animal. We neutralize remaining fragments, then we scrub caches, then we confirm 0. No, Hale said. Ward stopped. His voice dropped half an octave. This is my mission. No, I said. Not anymore. Hale reached for the sealed suitcases, 3 of them, opaque, unmarked. He stacked them by the viewport. Samples go with us. Ward shook his head. "We aren't leaving. We are," Hale said. "And NASA is getting first look." Ward looked between us, between corporate and crew, between orders and consequences. I saw the moral calculus click behind his eyes and break into dust. Outside, the ravine glittered faintly like metal teeth waiting behind a smile. I sealed the last container. For the first time since touchdown, I felt like we were choosing our own side. We're leaving, samples included. The ascent module sat 3 kilometers from the habitat close on paper, far with no wheels and a threat that moved under dust like current under ice. We bolted the rover's chassis to 4 emergency sled runners scavenged from spare pallets and habitat panels. Ward said it would drag. Hale said it would work. We didn't have luxury to debate engineering. We suited up. 2-hour tanks. Telemetry continuous. Samples boxed and tethered. Ward stood by the sled runners, visor reflecting the ascent module's distant glint. "We leave the samples," he said. "Corporate assumes liability if they reach Earth." "Their evidence," Hale countered. "Corporate assumes nothing but ownership." Ward keyed private uplink. "HFS confirms. No surviving samples," the voice said through clipped encryption. Hale stiffened. "They want destruction, not truth." Ward didn't deny it. He just shouldered his rifle-sized flare tool standard safety kit, non-lethal, more for signaling than defense. We hauled the sled out of the habitat shadow. Dust curled off its runners in graceful veils. The anomaly stirred on the horizon, thin ripples, faint glints. Telemetry held. Threat kept distance. 0201-42. Plenty if nothing went wrong. Mars never let nothing go wrong. Halfway to the ascent module, Ward moved behind Hale, unclipping the sample containers from the sled rig. He tried subtle first. Corporate loyalty always tried subtle first. Hale caught it. "Don't." Ward tightened his grip. "Corporate can't recover from contamination scandal. If we make it home without samples, story dies clean." "And if we make it home with truth?" Hale asked. Ward's jaw worked behind the visor. "Truth isn't profitable." "You're a scientist," Hale said. "I'm a commander," Ward corrected, "and commanders close loops." He tossed 1 container into the dust. I lunged, caught the tether before it flew off the sled. Hale shoved Ward. Ward shoved back. The sled veered, scraping over rock. Fragments flashed at the edge of vision metal crescents, surfing dust, drawn to kinetic noise. "Both of you stop," I snapped. "We can't fight and survive." Ward yanked his arm free, unclipped the second container, and hurled it farther. This time Hale tackled him. 2 suits, 60 kilos of hardware, panting inside pressure helmets, oxygen burning faster with every slam. The anomaly closed faster now, lines converging like geometry learning intent. "Forget corporate," Hale shouted. "This matters." Ward kneed him off and reached for the last container. I stepped between them. Ward looked at me. He did, and for half a second I saw fear, not conviction. "Corporate can't control this," I said. "They can only bury it. That's not containment, that's erasure." His visor reflected me, inverted by curvature. "You're siding with him." "I'm siding with survival," I said. "And surviving means evidence." Ward didn't break because of me, he broke because the anomaly finally reached the container he'd thrown first. The dust burst upward, glittering with metal. Pieces began reordering, gaps exposed. Foam sealant stripped like rind. Screws sorted into spirals. Hale grabbed his sample case and shoved it back onto the sled. "Move." Ward didn't argue. Command instinct beat corporate instinct. We hauled the sled the final kilometer, ascent module looming larger, guidance fins black against red sky. Fragments tracked us, not touching bodies. Only equipment removing fasteners, testing hinge joints, peeling layers like fruit. Ward stumbled near the ascent pad. I caught his harness. Hale pulled containers inside the cargo bay buttress. HUD flashed. 0200, third 3. "Get inside," Ward ordered. "Together," Hale said. Ward didn't agree. He just moved quick, decisive. He climbed the pad ladder alone, jammed the cargo hatch manual override, and sealed it behind him. "Hale, Mercer, Ward just locked cargo," I shouted. Hale slammed against the exterior hatch. "Ward, open it." Ward didn't. Ignition sequence armed. Flight lamps strobed. Corporate doctrine always valued extraction of command over crew. Fragments flooded the cargo bay, sliding under the sled, stripping clamps, testing tethers. Not attacking, assessing. Hale shoved a data slate into my glove. "Take it," he said, "and keep the evidence." Then he ran not away but sideways, drawing fragments with kinetic noise, dust fountains marking his route. "Hale," I shouted. He didn't answer. He just signaled with one arm circle, pause, circle like field biologists, guiding predators away from cubs. The ascent engines lit. Dust swallowed the pad. Ward launched early, plume ripping the ravine edge into ribbons. Fragments froze as his signal vanished into the upper atmosphere. Telemetry silent, radio gone. Threat paused. I scanned for Hale through settling grit. Nothing, just quiet analysis and dust that no longer cared to chase me. I looked up once more at the rising ascent module. Ward launched, but he wasn't alone in that cabin. They flew me back on a medical waiver, sedated for half the trip and questioned for the rest. No press, no NASA ceremony, just a windowless room at Ellington Field with 3 HFS investigators and 1 federal observer who pretended not to listen. They read my mission log aloud, then told me which parts I had meant to say instead. Ward was listed KIA pending review. Hale wasn't listed at all. The ascent capsule landed off course in the Pacific. Recovery divers found scorch marks across the cabin walls and half the avionics dismantled into spirals. The datapod was missing. So was Ward. Mechanical failure, the investigators concluded, handing me a printed statement already notarized. They asked me to sign. I didn't. Instead, I filed my own logs offline, encrypted, mislabeled as geological surveys, and passed a copy to a journalist I trusted from grad school. She never answered, but the relay echoed once at 3 a.m. on a Sunday, 3 pulses, pause, 3 again like someone knocking from very far away. NASA requested access to our black box transcripts. Corporate declined. Congress held a hearing for 17 minutes and adjourned without action. HFS stock rose 6% that week. They tell everyone the surface was sterile. They tell everyone Archer 3 crashed. They tell everyone Mars is empty. But I've seen what empty does. It learns. It rearranges. It waits to be buried so it can be found. They didn't send us there to explore Mars. They sent us to bury it.